All content and material used in this video are for purposes of review and commentary under terms of fair use. Also, the following views expressed in this video are of personal opinion. Viewer discretion is advised. Oh, and also spoilers. Well, that doesn't really matter. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to StormKing Final Impressions of Fall 2011 Animes. Let's begin this anime montage! First up is Bento. Now when it comes to my overall thoughts and final impressions of Bento, it is this. I thoroughly and utterly enjoyed Bento. What a hilarious anime series. I mean, I came into this series thinking, oh, I don't know, this is sort of questionable, dubious content, and it's sort of stupid. Why are these people fighting over boxed lunches? But in fact, it is because of the fact that all these characters were doing these Ikitozen and History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi kind of over-the-top, epic battle scenes and action sequences was what made Bento so hilarious and enjoyable. The animation quality was absolutely beautiful and fluid. Its fluidity was flawless. There was no jittering or, one scene here to another scene over there. No, it was always fluid and flawless like that. And the music, the opening was not bad. It was just a normal kind of high-energy J-rock. The ending was a mellowed-out, chill J-pop. But what really took the music away was the background music, especially during the fight scenes. It was this high-tempo, dance, techno kind of song background music. It was so incredibly good. So I do recommend watching Bento. It is hilarious and enjoyable. Despite how questionable the content may be, it is incredibly enjoyable. Next up is C-Cubed. Now, when it comes to C-Cubed, overall, I enjoyed this series. Despite what other people may think and how much they dislike it, personally, I really enjoyed it. Even though it is a typical ecchi guy meets girl kind of story, I love this whole unique twist to it in which they add in curses, and whenever the boy meets a girl, the girl has some kind of curse that the guy must solve somehow. I love that little twist to it. And when it comes to the animation and production quality of C-Cubed, it is really incredible. The producers behind C-Cubed is Silverlink, and you may know them for doing Baka to Testo to Shou Kanju. Now, you can see the similarities in animation for the both of them, but I love C-Cube's animation style in which, you always see some kind of cube or square somewhere. There's always, squares! There's always involving squares! And the music is really breathtaking as well. You have an opening, the first opening, that is done by Tamura Yukari, and an ending that is done by Kitamura Eri, and then after the first half, they switched around, in which Kitamura Eri is doing the opening, and then Tamura Yukari is doing a ending. And there's one final point that I really like about C-Cubed. They brought back Tamura Yukari's bone-chilling, sadistic, Higurashi no naku koro ni furude rika, sadistic laughter. And it's because of all this kind of production quality, high production quality behind C-Cubed, that makes me really enjoy this series and recommend you, the audience, trying it out. Next up is Fate Zero. Now the best thing I can say about Fate Zero is this. I can't wait for Fate Zero 2. The second season. This anime, Fate Zero, is incredible! Absolutely incredible! The animation is breathtaking. The all-star voice cast is flawless. The music, that is the opening, the ending, and the background music, absolutely enjoyable, incredible, epic, and fitting to the situation or whatever is at hand. Fate Zero is an absolutely breathtaking anime. It is, if not, there's some things that's missing. Some things there are missing from the, anime compared to the visual novel, but it's just very minor things. Very, very minor. Oh yeah, and another thing about Fate Zero. For those of you who watched Fate Stay Night and are watching Fate Zero and are thinking, hey, this animation for Fate Zero is a little bit, you know, a little bit more gorier than usual. Here's an explanation as to why. Fate Zero, both the visual novel and the anime, have Nitro Plus assisting in it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Nitro Plus has their hands in Fate Zero. This anime is absolutely incredible. You guys have to watch it. You guys have to, you know, play Fate Stay Night first, and then start playing / watching Fate Zero. You guys can't miss out on this anime. I can't fangasm enough about Fate Zero. Next up is Kimi to Boku. Now, for Kimi to Boku, it was nothing much. It was a slice of life series not meant to be anything special. Just a chill, relaxed series. It was a slice of life all circled around 5 guys and just how they live out their lives, making fun of each other, having fun with one another, and how they interact with one another. Now, the best way to describe Kimi to Boku is think of a K-On, but without the music and with guys, and that's basically Kimi to Boku. Overall, I enjoyed this series for what it is. I mean, it's not the most exciting or dramatic or battle intense kind of series. It was just meant to be relaxed, kick back, and not to be anything special. It's just everyday life. I mean, I'm pretty sure in everyday life you don't have people pulling out swords or guns or doing energy blasts. I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen in real life. Please tell me if it does, otherwise I'm missing out something. But yeah, when it comes to Kimi to Boku, I can't say much about it, because there is nothing much about it. It's just, again, chill, kickback, slice of life, not meant to be much. Do I recommend this series? You're more than welcome to give it a try, and I say give it a try. Next up is Kyoukai Senjou no Horizon. Now, the best way to describe my overall thoughts, final impressions, and feelings about Horizon in one word: confusing. When I was watching Horizon, it was really confusing. They always brought in all these concepts and terminologies. I was just like, what the hell is going on in this series? I have no idea what was going on. I had to watch it a second time and I still don't get it. I remember researching a little bit about the light novel, and the light novel is really thick and full of, you know, information. So maybe the anime didn't properly get that, you know, information that was in the light novel properly translated into the anime. Maybe it's just that. Overall, the music was not bad. The animation was not the best I've seen, admittedly. It is not the best, but it is quite decent. But yeah, if you want to watch Kyoukai Senjou no Horizon, I suggest, if possible, reading the light novel after if you want to make sense of anything. I mean, this series totally took my mind. It just blew over my mind. There's a second season to Kyoukai Senjou no Horizon, so hopefully the second season will explain more things, or it'll just make it more confusing. Who knows? Next up is Maji de Watashi ni Koishinasai. Now, when it comes to Maji Koi, it was an adaptation from the original visual novel, in that the adaptation is just, they took the original characters and starting story, and then manipulated it into their own unique story and ending. But the thing about Maji Koi is that this adaptation was a poor adaptation. It was an absolute, you know, abysmal kind of adaptation. It was just really bad. I mean, in comparison to Kimi Aru, which was also an adaptation of the original visual novel, they did it in an absolutely hilarious and entertaining way. But for Maji Koi, it was just not good. It was terrible. You know, they're trying to make an overly dramatic, epic kind of build-up to a finale, but not only was the build-up poor, but the finale also sucked. You know, I can't recommend this series. It is really bad in my point of view. I mean, if you want to give it a try, you're more than welcome to. But myself and a lot of viewers would agree that this Maji-Koi anime adaptation of the visual novel of Maji-Koi was just a bad adaptation. Speaking of bad adaptations, next up is Maken-Ki. Now, when it comes to Maken-Ki, here's my personal opinion. It sucks. I hate it. Now, okay, the thing is, the reason why I hate it is that I've read Maken-Ki the manga, and I enjoyed Maken-Ki the manga. The problem with the anime is, even though Maken-Ki is a ecchi kind of manga, it also has some action and dramatic elements to it. When it comes to the anime, it was just like, okay, we have some action, we have barely to none drama, there's some traces of it, but let's all just concentrate on ecchi. You know, let's just give these girls big knockers and just forget about the laws of physics and everything. You know, who cares? You know, let's forget about it. And overall, this anime adaptation of the manga for Maken-Ki, it was just poorly done. I did not like it. I was hoping for something that was, you know, something similar to the good impression I got from Takeda Hiromitsu's manga. But instead, I got this sort of half-assed, poor quality of animation, less than astounding soundtrack, you know, piece of an anime. You know, I just didn't like it. So, if you want to watch it, Godspeed, otherwise you can ignore it and not miss anything. Next up is Mashiroiro Symphony, Love is Pure White. Now when it comes to Symphony, the animation quality was quite good. The music was not bad overall, though I really liked the opening because it was sung by Chocho. Good. And the voice acting was not bad for a visual novel, galgame, eroge based anime. What really ticks me off and irks me is that Shingo, the main male character, ends up with Miyu, one of the possible female characters. Now you're probably all thinking, you know, but StormKing, that's just your opinion, you know, I like Miyu and I don't mind that, you know, Shingo ends up with Miyu. Wrong! Wrong! I will tell you the reason why. Because initially I thought Shingo was going to end up with Senna, because for the first 6 episodes, it was all about Senna! All about Senna! And Shingo raised so many Senna flags. Now, here's a tip from me to you, the audience, or anybody, and especially to you, Manglobe, the producers behind Symphony. If you don't want to piss off your audience, do not lead them on the wrong way. Do not build up and establish one character standing and then make the audience think that they're going to end up with this character as the ending, with the male character, and then all of a sudden go to another character from out of left wing and out of field. You do not, I repeat, do not raise empty flags. That pisses off a lot of people. This is shuffle all over again. I mean, out of all the possible characters that the main dude could have hung out with or ended up with, you know, Nerine, Shia, Primula, even Kaede. How the hell did he end up with Asa? But overall, I really enjoyed Mashiroiro Symphony. You know, it was not bad for a visual novel adaptation, despite some ending. But I do recommend it if you think that you want to try it out. If you want to try it out, I will recommend it. If you don't, it's not bad if you miss out. You know, there's nothing much that you're missing. Next up, the Idolmaster. Now, when it comes to the Idolmaster anime, I really enjoyed it. A lot more than I thought I would initially. You know, I thought it was going to be another one of those half-assed animes, but on the contrary, the production quality behind the Idolmaster is absolutely astounding, absolutely incredible. And I gotta applaud A1 Pictures for doing such an incredible job in animating the Idolmaster. A1 Pictures did such an incredible job in giving some sort of story and drama for the Idolmaster. And all the characters were true to their game source. Every character was accurate to their video game counterpart. And another interesting true to source tidbit slash fact is that whenever the idols always did a music video of some sorts, if you compare the anime music video to the video game music video, it was almost exactly the same! Especially Yukio's music video. That was also pretty good. Now, when it comes to the music for the Idolmaster, even though most of the times the music isn't exactly my style, I loved how they presented the insert songs and the endings. It almost seemed like a music video, like each episode of the anime had a music video inside of it. And overall, I gotta say and recommend watching the Idolmaster. It is good. Despite it being the Idolmaster, it is good. I have to recommend watching it. Next up, Ungo. Now, overall, I enjoyed watching Ungo. Despite how the conclusion and ending of the last episode was, it was just sort of like, really? You decided to do it like that and not something else grander or something? But all in all, I enjoyed Ungo and how it went. I especially liked how the detective was another one of those, I don't care what anyone thinks, or what anyone feels, or how it is in the end. I just want the truth to solve this case, and screw you if you don't like it. You know, he's one of those sort of hard-boiled, but just nothing but the truth kind of detective. When it comes to Ungo's music, I really enjoyed it. The opening was a upbeat J-rock song, while the ending was a mellowed out, kind of chill, but still up-tempo song. Now, if you were to ask me whether or not to watch Ungo, and whether or not I suggest it, I definitely suggest trying out Ungo. It may be one of those usual kind of not-so-special mystery detective animes, but in terms of production quality and overall, I think it's something worth watching. Ungo had really good voice acting. The production quality for the animation was done by Bones. It was really good. The story was always keeping you guessing. So overall, yeah, I do suggest you guys watch and try out Ungo. And lastly, Working! Apostrophe, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. You know the second season to Working. Now, overall, I enjoyed the second season of Working. You know, it was exactly the same as the first season of Working. It was just as enjoyable, just as funny, just as slice of life, etc., etc. Now, there is one thing I noticed when I was watching the second season of Working. It was that I sort of, if not slightly, got bored of the second season. Because, you know, there's not much happening, you know, in the second season. It was exactly like the first season, if not for a little bit more character progression and a little bit more silliness. But, you know, there's just a hint of a little bit, you know, not too much change and a little bit bored in watching it. And the music is the same as the first season. You have a pop opening, and then the ending is a disco-style kind of ending with the three guys. You know, I loved Working's endings because in the first one, in the first season, their ending was same with the three guys. It was a Beach Boy style kind of song, but in this one they have a disco style kind of song. So overall, I do recommend watching Working first season and then watching the second season. The animation quality is quite good, the music is not bad, and overall it's quite enjoyable and silly. So that's it for StormKing Final Impressions of Fall 2011 Anime. Overall, I really enjoyed the Fall 2011 anime. I mean, you're not seeing the other animes because they're 24 eps and you'll be seeing them in the Winter 2012 Final Impressions. But overall, I do recommend watching the Fall 2011 animes. They are quite good, except for a few questionable ones again. So, This is StormKing with the fall 2011 animes telling you to read some manga, watch some anime, you'll like it, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching StormKing's reviews. Please rate, comment, subscribe to StormKing 1 and Sky Reviews.